The Bamboo Project wholesale video starts in 3, 2.
Welcome to the Bamboo Project YouTube channel. My name is Donivan Gray.
And my name is Melissa Burnett. We currently have over 300 videos on our channel of our Dr. Sebi inspired diet, travel vlogs, sports, music, clothing, podcast, beauty, and everything else. We live in New York City, and this is episode 24 of our virtual wholesaling series, where we will give weekly updates on our journey to close our first deal.
We started this series for the people who want to get into wholesaling, who don't have any money, who don't have any mentors, and wanted the perspective of other people just starting out. Today is April 29th, and this is the last 2 weeks update.
And Donovan's birthday.
I wasn't gonna say nothing. I wasn't gonna say anything. And I'm like,
today is Donovan's birthday.
Yes, I am now 27 years old.
Yes.
A 27-year-old who has not done a wholesale deal yet. So obviously, listen, it's getting kind of late in my age. Getting old now. I'm almost 30. I'm an old head now.
It's okay. I'm young for the both of us.
So you guys probably already see. This is last 2 weeks update. The week before last, I didn't feel like a lot of things were done as far as wholesaling or real estate. So I kind of wanted to be able to compile all the 2 weeks or both of the weeks together and then bring it here for this Sunday. One thing I talked about a lot on here is being able to work with an agent. So I talked about this in the video when, I think it was the last one, when we closed on the house. I now am able to communicate with an agent, and we kind of are on the same page with wholesaling. So that was kind of one of the last pieces that I wanted. It was to be able to find an agent that's cool with me wholesaling, so they could kind of submit deals for me, and we can kind of work in tandem to get and close a bunch of deals. That was how I thought about it going into it. So it's not necessarily really going like that. It's a little bit different than I thought. So there are a couple properties that I have had in the past that are off market. They were shell. I talked about it before on here, where the guy had to have one of the contractor for the house. He had to go to the property and take the wood off the door because I guess the house, I don't know if it's condemned, but it has like those don't enter signs on it, and it has wood on the door. So I had to ask him if he could go and get a nail gun to take off the wood. Come to find out, this is when I had a cash buyer go to the property. There was no key to get into the property. So there was actually a door behind the wood, which I thought would be open, which wasn't. So that kind of put a damper on things, because it could have been a good deal, but I don't know because I never got inside the property. And the people who actually own the property now, maybe the agent, have no pictures of the inside. So I don't know what it looks like inside. And that's really difficult to be able to see or know how much the work is going to need if I can't get inside the property. So that's kind of where we're at right now with that. So, with all of that being said, this agent that I decided that would be a good person to partner with, we're on the same page about wholesaling together. I'm not really sure how great of an idea this was or how it's going so far. He has been very helpful for sure. Not gonna knock that. He's been able to send me comps on properties, which is amazing, because now we don't have access to the MLS, and that's where all the comps are. People who don't know this, maybe you do. If you're into the wholesaling and real estate, you might know how this works. But Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, PropStream, REI, all the sites that you guys know of to get comps and look up properties, get the information from the MLS. The MLS is the holy grail of information as far as how much the property is sold for, what the area is doing, active, closed, cash. You can find the owners, you can find the agents, you can find the numbers, and a lot of information about the houses on the MLS. So because he's an agent and I'm not, he's able to access those things. So he's able to send me comps for property. So it's easy for me to get an idea of what the property would sell for once I get it under contract or once somebody else flips it. So I told him that I found this property, the one with the wood on the door, and he suggested something to me that I was kind of still unsure about how this works, because a lot of things that I do, a lot of properties I look at are on market, because I save a lot of money, in my opinion, doing on market, or so I thought, and that's why I want to go after that in the beginning. I've been getting into off market lately. He suggested to me that once I get a property under contract, he would then list the property on the MLS, and that would drive a lot of buyers to the property. Now, there are a couple problems with that for me. I don't know how that works with a dual agency strategy. I don't know if the property is on market and I bring him an on market property and I use dual agency, where that means that the buyer's agent and the seller's agent are the same person, right? If it already has a buyer and seller's agent, how does he list the property? I don't know how that works. I don't know if you can have multiple agents on one deal. So I don't know how that would work. I think that would work in situations where the property is off market. Now, the problem is, he said that when he does wholesale, and when he's wholesaled before, he'll put on the contract, this contract is assignable without written consent from the owner. Now, in my experience, that don't fly with no agents. You can't, I don't tell them I'm wholesaling the deal or sign a contract until I get to the point where I possibly might do it, which I haven't done yet. So I don't want to scare them off by saying that, but he's telling me to write that on the contract. Also, when he does his deals, a lot of his stuff is 30 days or more for the property, as far as his closing date. The problem with that is a lot of cash buyers close in less than 14 days. So it's gonna be hard to compete with a 30-day closing period, and people are offering 14 days all cash, no assignments. It's gonna be really hard to compete with that. So we're gonna have to kind of figure out how to work through that, because I actually was about to lock this property up because he told me that he would be able to, get it assigned. And when I sent the contract, it's my first time using DocuSign, and it's funny too, because I said on the podcast before, not the podcast, on here before, that I don't really watch Biz Matthews videos that much, and I find it funny because now I seem to watch his videos more than anybody else's videos now that I'm doing off-market deals. So I kind of find that to be interesting. So I had to learn how to use DocuSign, which I watched his video about on how to use it, and I ended up sending it to the agent for the property that I was trying to wholesale, or still trying to wholesale, and for whatever reason it was blank. So she's like, "Oh hey, it's blank. If you want, we can use our transactional agent. They can do the deal." So I'm like, "Well, you know what? I'm gonna just use the guy that I'm working with and get him a commission on the deal, and maybe we can still get a wholesale fee on the back end." So I called him up and said he could do it. That was 2 days ago. He has not sent the contract in to the agent for this property. So now I'm kind of like, and he hasn't responded to my text either. So now I'm kind of in the dark about what we're doing with this property. It's not a really good place to be in. I don't like being in the dark. I like to know exactly what's happening at all times. Like, okay, this is what's going on. This is how I feel about it. Last week, or within the last 2 weeks, have paid to get my real estate license. So I'm currently taking or learning about the course and stuff like that in Philadelphia or in Pennsylvania. And I will be trying to get my own license so that I can, honestly, the only reason why I want to get my license is so I can go to MLS. That's the only reason. I really just want to have access to the MLS. I have a friend, Ray Don, who said that, I don't know if I told you this, that he has an interview with a brokerage. So I don't really want to go through an interview process. I just want to get my license and go to MLS. That's all I want. I don't want to have to go work for a broker. But I feel like I'm going to have to. I think you need to work with a brokerage to get access to the MLS. I feel like you just have a license, you can just get access to the MLS. That's what I thought. So that's my goal right now. Melissa, are you going to get your license too, babe?
Yes, in Georgia.
Oh, see, so we're going to be real estate agents now. We're going to be agents who have licenses in different states. Yeah, I took 2 or 3 practice exams on the little course that I paid for, right? Got a 44 on the first one, right? Second one, I got a 73. You need an 80% to pass, so it took me 3 tries to pass this practice exam. The thing that I took was not a totality of real estate. It was just more so about that particular chapter of the book or whatever I'm studying. And I got a 44 and then a 70. So I technically failed twice on the first chapter. Second chapter I took, failed that one. I didn't fail it, but I ain't passed, so that's technically failing. So I got like a 77 on that one. But the third one that I took, once they have a test for each chapter, passed on the first try. I got an 88. So we go in the right direction, all right?
Are you taking notes?
No. Why? Okay, I was curious about that. So you gonna take notes?
Yeah.
Why?
So I can refer to my notes when I answer the questions.
Why would you do that?
What do you mean, why would I do that?
But then you don't know the information.
I have to know it. A lot of information you don't have to know.
What? What do you think? What?
Because your brain will kind of remember the important stuff, right?
There is no important stuff.
Oh, see? Why am I remembering anything then?
What are you gonna write down? That's what I'm saying.
Vocabulary. I'd write down vocabulary.
I feel like, all right.
I like to write down vocabulary, and I like to write down numbers. Like, it has to be 70 something degrees in order for X, Y, and Z to happen, or like stuff like that. I would write down.
Well, it's not a lot of numbers. I can tell you that.
Oh, that's
there's that. It is vocabulary, but it's also laws.
Yeah, write down the law.
But it doesn't. But you don't know which laws to write down.
You write down all of them.
So you're gonna rewrite everything they tell you? Like what? Nah, that's crazy. Well, just you're rewriting the whole chapter so you can refer to it back to answer the questions. That's craziness. And I mean, you don't know what you read. You're not retaining the information. You're just transferring it.
Instead of me having to go back and read the thing 5 times, because at that point you're just memorizing answers.
No, you're not. They change. So it's like they might ask some of the similar questions, but for the most part they will give you new questions. So like I said,
it works for me.
We saying it works though. I don't know how. Like, how are you gonna rewrite? Because let's say it's 30 pages. How do you know what to rewrite? Because it's not like you just read like 5 pages and then you gotta answer.
Well, I haven't seen what's on there, so I can't really tell you.
Yeah.
But if it's like scenarios, no, I would write down scenarios word for word.
I will be highly annoyed. I'm gonna be annoyed, guys. I'm telling you right now. If we close a deal as an agent before we wholesale a property, we already bought a house before we wholesale, we get our license before we wholesale, and we're gonna end up somehow accidentally being like, yeah, we just represent you on a deal and close on it, and be like, well,
bro, all we was trying to do was wholesale.
All I wanted to do was wholesale a deal or two, get some money on the side, and then like maybe buy a rental or put it into some passive income or something like that, and have a little bit of money coming in. That's all I wanted to do. There was no plan for us to be buying a house right now or becoming an agent. Honestly, that was not on the map at all. To get the pay for the course and become an agent, that was not a thing at all. So I think that's funny that if we do end up with that before we wholesale the deal. But listen, we have a project. We going up. It's gonna be. This is the stories part of the book. I've been doing some off market calls. I know a lot of people be in the comments suggesting that I finally get into off market, which I am. This is my first week and a half, I guess, doing it. For people who have been doing it, you probably already know what it comes with. A lot of people not answering the phone. There's that. My first day, I was getting my toes wet. Just put my pinky toe in there. I was sending out some warm text messages to see if I get any responses back. One guy read my message, so that's a good thing. Okay, so plus he didn't respond back, but read it. Actually, somebody did respond back to me, but I texted him and said, "Hey, can I get to buy property?" And the thing was, the person had actually passed away who owns the property, and there's a lot of other relatives. I don't know who actually owns the property now. So when I text them like, "Hey, I'm trying to sell whatever the case, whatever I text them," they were like, "No, don't reach out no more." And I was like, "Oh, got it. All right." So they responded. So that's good. So I wrote to them again, and they didn't respond to me again. So my thing is, I don't know if they even have the rights to sell the property, or they're just somebody that knows or they're related to the person that passed away. Because they might just be like, "Oh, well, she passed away, so we don't want to deal with nobody." So I don't really know the inner workings of that. But I do know that wholesaling is a lot about following up. So I know I got to get into my follow-up game. But that's great because the Dealinator has all of my leads. The Dealinator actually, the calculator works for off market, for on market, technically. That's what it was built for. That's what I was doing. However, I guess you call it the CRM, would be the customer relations manager, I guess you want to call it that. The fact that I'm able to see all of the properties on there and know what they said before, I have notes for, I have the price for, I have comps for, I have the calculations and the rent numbers, everything is on there. I can always refer back to it and see, okay, I can write on my thing, hey, call them back in a week, they said this on March 3rd. Oh, call them back in 2 weeks, they said this on March 21st. That kind of stuff. So I'm definitely I'm happy about that. We are going to Philadelphia May 23rd. It will be a half and half. So half of it will be us sitting down, and then the other half will be kind of us walking the property, kind of talking about our experience at the property, like a mini vlog and a mini sit down, kind of like a half and half thing. So I'm definitely excited for that. I know you talk about quantity in wholesaling. I don't think I've called a lot of people so far. I was probably doing like 5 a day, which I'm pretty sure that's nothing. But I'm not skip tracing. I'm kind of using True People Search, so it's a little bit more labor intensive.
And we have more money to put towards it now.
That is true. That is very true.
I am redesigning Donovan's Dealinator.
Oh, facts.
So that's coming out very soon. I'd like to say it'll be done before this video comes out next week or something like that. So
version 2.0. So I want it to be more user friendly to people. Also, at some point, what I want to do with the Dealinator is I want to have it to be downloadable, so you don't have to actually, because right now I have to email it to you, and I think it'd be easier if there was a link that you can just click in the description and you can just download it from there and have it on your computer. So I don't know when it's gonna happen, but that's the plan. I want it to be easier for people to use and easier to get access to it. So all
right, so you can catch us on our IG. Donovan's Instagram is at DONIVANGRAY, and then you have the beautiful, phenomenal Melissa Bennett.
Actually, you gotta call me that.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
All right, guys, and that would be the end of this episode. So we have the beautiful, phenomenal Donivan Gray. His Instagram is at DONIVANGRAY. That's his Instagram, and then you have the handsome Melissa Bennett. So my Instagram is at ANETABURN, Anita Burn.
Flip the outros.
On yes, I do. Okay. So you already know what it is.
Okay, you almost there.
You already know what it is. Hashtag Bamboo Project 2021 be going up every year. And just like that, Bamboo Project out.
Whoo! That was rough, guys. Close, but rough.